distant orbits. I rather like it up here, thought Tanuj. I don't think I want to go back down, ever again. He turned 30 degrees west and then began to climb. He leveled off at 40,000 feet and looked around at the sky as if for the first time. It was a brilliant blue. A great glass fishbowl turned over. There were masses of clouds far below like a foaming, tempestuous sea. Up here, the air was clear and clean and pure. He had left all the dirt far, far below. There was a sense of euphoria he had not experienced for a long, long time. He was king of the skies again, when no one could see him, reach him, or hurt him. He looked at the altimeter, 40,000 feet above sea level, a good height to do a spin dive. With lightning speed, a thought struck him. He would do that perfect maneuver he had been trained for one last time. But this time, there would be no recovery from the spin. He would go down like a man, like a true soldier, in harness, flying. The adrenaline spurted into his veins, his glooms lifted as he went around once again, circling his domain as he prepared for the final free fall into space. With trembling hands, he threw the machine into a spin. The beautiful bird shuddered to a stop, lifting her nose daintily in the air like a surprised ballerina, then wavered for breathtaking seconds before finally plunging downwards, hurtling towards Earth like a meteor, while the world came up to meet him, roads, rivers, and houses like markings on a crazy, gyrating map. Tanuj was talking aloud in short, jerky breaths, hearing himself through his blocked ears. "You coward!" Ahilya's voice screamed from inside him. "So is this all it was? Your training, your courage in the face of adversity? Chanting big words to me? To fly is to never say die? Where's your guts now?" Suddenly, the spiraling earth and sky and his disjointed thoughts rushed together into one focused action. With a Herculean effort, he began pushing forward the joystick to stop the spin. The gutsy little plane shuddered as she tried to stop her free fall, failed, and fell another 5,000 feet. Tanuj gritted his teeth till his jaws locked and pushed again. I think that was absolutely wonderful. To me, that was really so, it showed us the thoughts, the tempest that is going on in his brain, the fight, the argument to and from, and how he's trying to deal with it, what his training was all about, and whether he comes out of it is what you need to read and find out. So Malti, which would you already said what's your favorite passage. So, yeah, one moment. So what I would say is, like a commander in full control of his aircraft, Malti has a tight handle on the gamut of emotions she's been able to bring forth through the story. There's love, romance, heroism, heartbreak, hatred, anguish, anger, love, patriotism. The story is replete with description, detail, and not without humor. And for the romantic in you, it's a treat.
Thank you so much, Sarla. That was really wonderful of you to do such a critique of the book. I just want to ask you all, if anyone has any comment, anything to add, or any question, please go ahead. Anybody wants to say anything at all? We have enough of Air Force pilots here who can pick mistakes in my
No mistakes, my height is actually. Really. I could actually visualize what is happening.
Which character? Tanuj, Ahilya, and Krishnan. Well, I must say, like a mother, all three, I love all three of them. But Tanuj is somebody very special. Yes. So that is my take. But I would love to get a few questions. No, not really. Actually, Tanuj is a little bit of all the pilots I have seen. They all have that, they're innocent, they're playful, and yet they are very, very, very responsible also. As you'll see in the story, he's a very responsible chap, it comes out. So that's how, things happen. So anyway, I won't give out the suspense there. I would love to know if anything else you would like to know.
Sorry? Uh,
any inspiration? You mean? Huh.
The plot or, now you've taken two plots along with the terrorists. Question she asked.
About the same thing, about the two plots. The two plots are running parallel to each other, but there is definitely a very significant moment when they meet, and that is the climax of the story, and after that, everything changes. So, like two trains which are running on they suddenly come too close and they hit each other and they move, but the plots are independent of each other otherwise. So this was, I just planned it this way because as I said, I believe in karma, and this is what it's all about.
She has woven the two plots very, very deftly. You know, you cannot make out, I'm sure you can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You dispense with this. And what I'm saying is, she has done it so beautifully, you don't realize, for a moment, yes, you wonder, what is this Sri Lankan priest doing here? Yeah. No, but then it comes in quickly. The four characters have been introduced right at the outset, and as I said, they are at the starting gate of a long distance run. Yeah, I really believe that because she's done it. She's moved from Chennai to Boston, to Houston, and to the Indo-Pak border. And when she explains about the fate, you know, the role of the sun, I think the two have come together so well because as there is light in one part, there is darkness in the other. So while what is happening in Chennai, you know, with her mother sitting with an astrologer, you know, typical South Indian family, you know, with a guy doing all those shells and things and, you know, all the calculations. At that time it is night in Boston and there is her daughter thinking of moving in with her friend the following weekend. At the same time, Tanuj is already working on what is he going to say to her. And this priest, she is brought in at the right time, and they're, you know, woven together very, very deftly through the story.
Second priest.
Yeah. The first, the other one is the astrologer, who's just a local astrologer in Chennai, but he actually becomes a part of the whole big game. Without realizing it, he becomes a part of the whole plan. So then he's actually more of a puppet, I would say, in the big picture of the plot. So both the plots had to progress side by side, and because they had to come to a point, so that is where, you know, I had to keep going from one to the other, and come up to the point. That's how it worked. Anybody else with any questions?
Malati, some insights on the choice of title.
Okay, I'll tell you. Actually, I'm a great lover of Richard Bach. So Richard Bach's poems make a lot of sense to me. I find that, you know, it's just absolutely bang on. It just explains things so beautifully. So this one, I really like this. When you have come to the edge of all the light you have and step into the darkness of the unknown, believe that one of the two will happen to you. Either you will find something solid to stand on, or you will be taught how to fly. When you read the book, you will understand this. So this is just sort of the essence of the spirit of the book. This is. Anybody else? Anything?
Malati, I just want to know, as a lay person, not being in the other space, how do you normally, like, does an idea strike you and you work backwards? Has it happened in this book that way?
Yeah,
Or you start from the beginning and, you know, move?
Actually, how I start is, there's always a germ of an idea that comes. I'm sure all of us get ideas when we are, you know, living our lives, something strikes us and we say, oh, that could make a story. So yes, I did have an idea, and that idea did come into me that, you know, this girl, because I have seen this sort of incident happening, somebody would not, she didn't want to marry a guy who was posted in the hard areas. So it started with just a very germ of an idea, and then it sort of built on me. Over the years, it was there at the back of my mind. Like in my earlier book, The Wheel Turn, I had just read a stray, you know, sort of a press note somewhere saying that, you know, prisoners in Pakistan are POWs in Pakistan are forgotten. This years back, when it was just found that there were lots of POWs still living in Pakistan who had just been forgotten by both the governments. So that sort of started working on me, and I said, what do families go through? So that is the time I started thinking. Then I didn't want to base it in Pakistan because Pakistan has been overdone. So I thought, since I'm more familiar with the Chinese aggression era, so I decided to take it in the Chinese aggression time and then have this chap being a POW there. And then I explored the feelings of the family who's left behind, who doesn't know, who hasn't found a body, who hasn't got any confirmation, and yet they can't move on. So that is how, from a germ of an idea that I hear somewhere, I start working. Then it becomes a full-fledged plot because I keep thinking about it. It becomes a full-fledged plot, then I start writing about it.
It requires skill, and Madam has it.
Not at all.
I haven't read the book, but I think it has the making of a blockbuster movie. Producer. No, the storyline is so different. What I've read, or it's not streamlined. I mean, I'm yet to read the book, but it sounds very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and the fighter pilot bit actually, makes it more interesting.
Yeah, for the lay person who's not
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're an outsider,
armed forces
Yeah.
background. It's a good read because she's gone into great detail about
Yeah.
how the routine, the sorties take place, and
Exactly,
the buddies,
Yeah.
the camaraderie that is there. It's all very interesting.
I'll be familiar for my Air Force friends.
Yeah, they will be, but as I said, if you're impressed or
If you're not
a little of
learning,
learning,
it's very informative.
She's been smart enough. She knows she's going to capture the young audience. That's Ahalya and Tanuj. And then the older audience, the fighter pilots, their wives. I mean, the entire range.
I think that's
And
about it.
And so it's from Houston to Chennai. So she
I think it's very, very
Taking us
well.
down memory lane.
Yeah, everything, including terrorism and everything, like a masala movie.
You learn quickly after you read the book.
I will definitely, and I'm sure it's going to be one of those books you can't put down.
Every cadet will have a review session for us.
You might Chopra
No,
approach.
yeah, actually, yes, I'm not joking, it sounds very interesting and better than the Shollywood services.
So I just want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank Ashwini Sachdev for coming and saying a few words in the beginning. Thank you, Sach. And thank you, Sarla, for taking the trouble to read the book. She's done such a thorough job. I mean, I just didn't expect that she would know each and every part of the book so well that she would discuss it.
Rip it apart in the next minute of ours. Give us a chance.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being here. But before you leave, actually my children have surprised me with a cake. And it's got a cover like the book. I believe it's edible.
Oh.
So we'd like to, like you all to share the cake with us.
Wow.
So let's cut it and let's